Okay, so now we have our name on the paper. We're gonna get started with our peacock portrait. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a line in the center of the paper, a vertical line. This vertical line is, I don't know, a smidge over half the height of the paper. So this is where we're gonna put the peacock. So the peacock's head is not gonna come to the top of the paper, but stop somewhere in the middle. Now, things we know about drawing. Whenever we draw something, we wanna break it up into simple shapes. So on the top of this line, we're going to make a circle. So right now, this looks like a lollipop, but it will turn into a peacock. So one of the things that I do when I draw is I make multiple lines. So my circle is like a million lines right now. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put on the beak. So you can put the beak in many different directions. I'm gonna have my beak kind of going downward. So it's off to the side, kind of going downward. I'm gonna add a little bit of detail where the bottom of my beak is a smidge rounded. So what I've done is on my circle, I have like a V, maybe it's like a 30-degree angle here, coming out. And then when the peacock's beak meets the face, it has this like parentheses shape and parentheses shape. The bottom line shows the top and the bottom part of the beak. Got a pretty good beak in there now. My beak is ready to go. I'm going to erase any lines that I have inside my beak from the head. I certainly don't need that. Okay, and now I'm just going to fix up my head around a little here. The next shape is the eye. Now, considering the size of the head, the eye is quite large on the peacock, and it's sort of at a downward angle. So I'm going to make a line. A diagonal line, I would say that's like a 45-degree angle line, and I'm going to put it smack in the middle of my peacock's head. Now I'm going to use that to help me make the eye shape. So this is going to show me where to make the eye. So I'm going to make half the eye on the top of it, and I'm just kind of making a parenthesis shape. Half the eye on the top, the second half of the eye on the bottom. Kind of like a parentheses shape, a little bit pointy. Okay, so now I'm going around it and I'm making it a little bit more pointy to kind of make it look like more like an eye. And it is quite dark, so I'm just going to put a little white shine. And I'm going to take half a second and just add like a teeny little bit of shading in that eye. Now the cool thing about a peacock is it has those like really dramatic lines on the eye. So one of them is above the eye, a white stripe above the eye. So that would be a white stripe. And then below the eye is a white stripe. Now this shape you can have fun with. You can make it kind of go around the eye. You can make it just rectangular shapes. You can make it come to a point. Taper mine off here, erase all my lines that I don't need. So now we have a pretty good peacock face here. Again, I'm continuing to edit around the head. I'm just taking off, I made his head a little bit too wide here. Just make it a little more narrow. Next step is we're going to make the neck, and that will go into the body. So coming right off the head, coming down, the peacock has a skinny little neck, and then it seems to kind of go out. Looks like a bowling pin, I'm not going to lie. So it goes skinny, and then it goes out. It kind of looks funny like a bowling pin. Next step. Okay, the next step is we're going to start drawing the lines that will radiate out to make the feathers. So, in order to make radiating lines, I want you to think about bike spokes. They're all going to start in the same place and they're all going to go out. So, let's start with right above. The peacock will make a straight line coming up, and then we'll start making some lines around the peacock coming out. These are going to form the feathers. They don't have to be symmetrical. I'm going to add some extra lines here. So I have lots of lines radiating out from the peacock now. And that's the point where we're going to add those feather details. Now the interesting part about the circle, the really big decorative parts about the feathers is they're kind of all over. It's not like they're not perfectly in a row, they're sort of staggered. So I'm going to start placing some and following the pattern, and then we can fill in the rest. So things we know, they go out with the feather line, meaning that they all don't go straight up and down, those oval shapes. They actually go more like with the feathers. So we're going to start by making an egg shape, and we want to kind of keep them mostly the same size. So first I'm going to make an egg shape. Now an egg shape is a little pointier at the top and a little rounder at the bottom. So I've made an egg shape. After I make an egg shape, I'm going to put inside the egg shape an oval towards the bottom. Okay, so towards the bottom of the egg, I'm adding an oval. Oval towards the bottom. Inside the oval, I'm going to go a little bit smaller, and I'm going to add that ski goggle shape. Like that. And that shape would just get repeated over and over. So it always comes out of each of the feathers. So half of the egg is on one side of the line and half is on the other. They're sort of the same size. The oval is always towards the bottom. And then the ski goggle is always kind of in the middle. If I was going to do one here, I would put it right here, straight up and down. So half the egg is on one side, half is on the other side. An oval here. And then a ski goggle inside that. Perfect. For your final, when we paint, we'll add lines that alternate left and right and kind of go up, I would say. It's probably like a 45-degree angle or so. So these would get added on. They don't have to be symmetrical, but they can. Now this peacock would be finished when we have these beautiful feather ends on all of the feathers, and of course, after we've added the color as well.